All right, so we're basically done with chemistry, and now we're looking at the bio portions. These are basically previous questions that appeared in your test in the past. So chloroplasts are jelly-like. Number one, chloroplasts are jelly-like fluid between cell membrane and the nucleus. No, that's not true. Chloroplasts, you find them in plant cells, and they are responsible for producing chlorophyll, which plants use for making photosynthesis, which plants use for making food through a process called photosynthesis. So, I mean, straightforward, this question is definitely a false statement, is basically false. Number two, the cytoskeleton provides structure for the interior of the cell, right? If you think of the human skeleton, your bones and the skeletal structures, they give you your figure and your structure. So, same thing applies to cells, right? So, the cytoskeleton, means cell, and skeleton represents those structural features that the cell has, and that's what provides the structure of the cell. And when I mean structural features, I mean things like they have microtubules and some fibrous materials. You don't have to know all that, but the answer to this is definitely true. Any skeletal feature for any living organism provides structural feature for that organism. Now, number three, Golgi bodies or Golgi apparatus. They are organelles and they are at the site for manufacture of proteins. That's definitely false. By now, you know that Golgi apparatus is responsible for packaging of proteins and sometimes transportation of those things, actually, because the vessels would bud away from the Golgi apparatus and go to the destination. So that's the function of the Golgi apparatus, and it's not responsible for manufacture of proteins. In fact, when we covered the DNA topic, we realized that it was the ribosome that's responsible for manufacture of proteins. That's the site of manufacture of proteins. So that's it for these three questions. Question number four is asking you to basically identify some structures here, and you have mitochondria. Where's the mitochondria? It's always going to have the zigzag stuff, right? So that's H, and it's the same in plant and animal cells. Here's another mitochondria, here's another mitochondria, mitochondrion, sorry. Here are all mitochondria, right, plural, and this is a mitochondrion, and blah, blah. Okay, Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus, how do you identify it? Always you look at the nucleus, right? This is the nucleus, which is actually the third question. This is the nucleus. The Golgi bodies or the Golgi apparatus are usually connected to the nucleus, right? So you have this structure here that you'd always find close to the nucleus, and that we call the Golgi apparatus. So that's very easy to identify. And what is this structure? What do you think this is and this is? What do you think this is? Right? So you should be able to identify all the structures. Don't just only focus on what's given to you in the review. You basically need to know how to do all of them. All right, question number five. Which of the following is not true of the cell theory? So the two things that are not true would be number two and number three. All living cells require water for survival. So that's a true statement, but it's not part of the cell theory. All living things are only composed of cells. That's definitely not true, right? Because all living things have cells and other things, just water and other things, right? So that's not part of the cell theory, and it's also not true. So that's the answer. Those are the answers. What else is not true? Let's see. Number one, all cells arise from other cells. Now, this is definitely part of the cell theory. We say in the cell theory that all cells come from pre-existing cells, right? That's in one of your slides somewhere. And number four, the basic unit of life is a cell. That's true, right? Cells are the basic unit of any living thing, any living organism. So the answer to this question is going to be D. All right. So we're done with this part of the video about cells and cell theory. And next video, we're going to talk about osmosis and diffusion.